Imagine a prophet who called down fire from heaven, challenged the prophets of Baal to a showdown, and even ascended to heaven in a whirlwind. In this video, we'll explore the remarkable life and legacy of Elijah, a biblical figure who played a pivotal role in shaping the course of history. Stay tuned to learn more about this incredible prophet and why his story continues to inspire Christians to this day. Don't forget to subscribe for more biblical insights and inspiring stories. Elijah's origins are largely mysterious, but his impact is undeniable. His early acts in his ministry were nothing short of extraordinary. He burst onto the scene with a bold announcement to King Ahab, declaring, "As the Lord, the God of Israel, lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word." This declaration of a great drought was a direct challenge to the idolatrous practices in Israel and a powerful demonstration of God's authority. During the drought, God sustained Elijah in miraculous ways. He directed Elijah to the brook Cherith, where ravens brought him bread and meat every morning and evening. Imagine the sight, birds providing food to a prophet in the wilderness. This daily provision showed God's care and power, ensuring that Elijah could continue his mission despite the harsh conditions. In 1 Kings 17:14, after the brook dried up, God sent Elijah to Zarephath, where he met a widow gathering sticks. He asked her for water and a piece of bread. She replied, "I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little olive oil in a jug." Despite her desperate situation, Elijah assured her, "The jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord sends rain on the land." The widow trusted Elijah's words and made bread for him. Miraculously, there was food every day for Elijah and the woman and her family, for the jar of flour was not used up, and the jug of oil did not run dry. Later, tragedy struck when the widow's son fell ill and died. Distraught, she questioned Elijah, but he took the child, prayed fervently, and God heard his plea. According to 1 Kings 17:22, the Lord heard Elijah's cry, and the boy's life returned to him, and he lived. This powerful act of reviving the widow's son not only demonstrated Elijah's prophetic powers, but also solidified her faith in God. She proclaimed, "Now I know that you are a man of God, and that the word of the Lord from your mouth is the truth." One of the most dramatic episodes in Elijah's life took place on Mount Carmel. In a bold challenge to the prophets of Baal, Elijah called for a showdown to prove whose God was real. In 1 Kings 18:21, Elijah said to the people, "How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal is God, follow him." Elijah set the terms. Both he and the prophets of Baal would prepare a sacrifice, but neither would set fire to it. Instead, they would call on their God to send fire from heaven. The prophets of Baal went first, crying out and dancing around their altar from morning till noon, but nothing happened. Elijah mocked them, saying, "Shout louder, surely he is a god. Perhaps he is deep in thought or busy or traveling. Maybe he is sleeping and must be awakened." Despite their frantic efforts, no fire came. Then it was Elijah's turn. He repaired the altar of the Lord, dug a trench around it, and drenched the sacrifice with water until it filled the trench. Elijah prayed, "Answer me, Lord, answer me, so these people will know that you, Lord, are God, and that you are turning their hearts back again." According to 1 Kings 18:38, immediately the fire of the Lord fell and burned up the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and the soil, and also licked up the water in the trench. The people fell on their faces, crying, "The Lord, he is God! The Lord, he is God!" This dramatic display of God's power led to a national revival. Elijah then ordered the people to seize the prophets of Baal, and they were executed at the Kishon Valley. This event not only silenced the false prophets, but also turned the hearts of the people back to the Lord. After Elijah's triumphant victory over the prophets of Baal, he faced a new and terrifying challenge. Queen Jezebel, furious about the defeat of her prophets, sent a message to Elijah, vowing to kill him within 24 hours. Terrified, Elijah fled for his life, traveling deep into the wilderness. In his despair and exhaustion, Elijah found refuge under a solitary broom tree. There, he prayed to God, saying, "I have had enough, Lord. Take my life. I am no better than my ancestors." As he lay under the tree and fell asleep, an angel touched him and said, "Get up and eat." Elijah looked around and found a cake of bread, baked over hot coals, and a jar of water. He ate and drank, then lay down again. The angel returned a second time and touched him, saying, "Get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you." Strengthened by this miraculous food, Elijah traveled for 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. This journey to Mount Horeb, also known as Mount Sinai, marked a pivotal moment in Elijah's life. It was a place of refuge where God would speak to him, reaffirming his mission and providing the encouragement he desperately needed. On the mountain, God asked Elijah a profound question. "What are you doing here, Elijah?" This question prompted Elijah to pour out his heart, expressing his zeal for God's mission amidst the opposition of Israel's idolatry and the threat from Queen Jezebel. In response, God gave Elijah new instructions. He was to anoint Hazael as king of Syria, Jehu as king of Israel, and Elisha as his prophetic successor. These actions would bring about God's judgment upon the wickedness in Israel and ensure the continuation of prophetic ministry through Elisha. In 1 Kings 19:19, Elijah encountered Elisha, who would become his successor and carry on the prophetic mantle. Elijah found Elisha plowing a field with 12 yoke of oxen, symbolizing his family's wealth and his occupation as a farmer. Without saying a word, Elijah threw his cloak over Elisha's shoulders as a sign of calling and consecration. Elisha immediately understood the significance of Elijah's gesture. He asked to kiss his father and mother goodbye, then slaughtered his oxen and used the wood from the plow to cook the meat. He gave it to the people to eat, marking the end of his former life and the beginning of his new journey as Elijah's attendant and apprentice. This symbolized a complete commitment to God's call and a decisive step toward embracing the prophetic ministry. It signified the start of a new era of prophecy, where Elisha would continue Elijah's work under God's guidance and authority. Elijah and Elisha's relationship was characterized by mentorship and spiritual succession. Elijah poured his wisdom and experience into Elisha, preparing him to carry on the mission of confronting idolatry, proclaiming God's word, and calling Israel back to faithfulness. Elijah's incredible journey was nearing its end when God revealed to him that he would soon be taken to heaven. This revelation set the stage for one of the Bible's most astonishing events. But Elisha was determined to stay with him until the very end. In 2 Kings 2:9, Elijah said to Elisha, "Tell me, what can I do for you before I am taken from you?" Elisha replied, "Let me inherit a double portion of your spirit." Elijah knew this was a difficult request, but he left it in God's hands. He told Elisha, "You have asked a difficult thing," Elijah said. "Yet if you see me when I am taken from you, it will be yours. Otherwise, it will not." In 2 Kings 2:11, as they walked together, suddenly a chariot of fire and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them. Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha picked up Elijah's cloak that had fallen from him. He struck the water with it and cried out, "Where now is the Lord, the God of Elijah?" The water divided to the right and the left, and he crossed over. This miracle confirmed that Elisha had received the double portion of Elijah's spirit. Elijah's life teaches us about the enduring nature of God's mission. His dedication to God's cause, even in the face of adversity and personal challenges, serves as an example of steadfast faith. It reminds us that God's work transcends individual lifetimes, and that each of us has a role to play in His greater plan. We hope you've been inspired by the incredible story of Elijah, a true legend in biblical history. If this message has touched your heart, please subscribe to our channel. By subscribing, you'll stay connected and receive more uplifting content that strengthens your walk with God. Thank you for watching. Remember, God is always with you. Stay blessed and keep the faith.